Hi guys, it's Joy, and I'm sure you saw the title of this video because you clicked on this. Today we're going to continue my little mini-series on what happened with my debate with Onision. So let me give you guys a little bit of information, especially if you're new here. Hi y'all, how you doing? I just want to kind of throw some stuff out there so you can understand exactly what this was and exactly what happened here. Okay, let me set the scene. So Onision had put something out saying he wants to do a debate, right? With somebody. It was actually aimed at me. And whoever spoke up on a YouTube video and said they wanted to debate, the person who got the most views wins. Jacqueline Glenn got the most views, but he declared me the winner. But he ended up saying, okay, well, I'll do both of you. So I have my debate directly with Onision. If you haven't yet seen that, go check it out. I'll have links in the description. I'll have links up here. This one probably won't make sense unless you see that video. So make sure and go see that video first because it's pretty hilarious. To make a long story short, he got super mad because he was trying every which way to trigger me and it really wasn't working. And then he rage quit. He got mad and left. He just walked off of the debate and said, I'm going to talk to Kai. Now, a couple things to note. Kai at this point in time was named Lainey and went by she, her, is that what it is? Pronouns, but was also going by him, his as well. So there was some overlap there. So what you're going to see, there's a couple things I want you guys to understand from this. So Greg rage quits, and I wasn't prepared to talk to Kai or Lainey in this, but I was like, okay, I don't mind, right? And we had a fairly civil discussion, like it was a decent discussion. But there's a reason this video is so long, because once I left the stream, things turned south. Now, those of you who don't know what was going on then, at that time, I was the first, I would say I was one of the most consistent first voices that had a bigger platform that was speaking out about what was going on with Billy, Ayala, and Sarah. I know there were others that were, but I was a consistent big voice in this, and I was one of the leading voices at the time. In fact, I did a lot. I'm not going to even hide it. I did a lot of videos on Onision. The reason was he kept harassing these teenage girls that he kept trying to bring into their throuple. And the big one, and you're going to hear this mentioned. So at this time, there was somebody named Billy, a teenage girl who was in their throuple between Kai and Onision. And apparently, she partook in medicinal herbs. Please infer, because it's YouTube. By the way, when people ask about why I won't say certain things, it's not me. If you guys watch the videos and how many things I have to bleep out, I love cursing. I can't do it on this platform. And there are a lot of things I know that will trigger YouTube. So I do my best to speak around things. But Onision has these very strong rules against all recreational use of certain type of herbs or medicines. Please infer. So I guess she had partook in this, and then she lied about it, and they got really mad. And so they all broke up because she lied, but Greg's completely okay to manipulate and verbally abuse everybody, which he's even admitted to. But they wanted to bring her back in. And even though Kai, the husband, who was the wife then, didn't want to bring her back in, Onision did and said, well, she's going to have to prove that she's going to have to do something, some penance for this. And so in that, I guess there were two options. She could make a video about how awful she is or what wrong she did. Or, and this is the option that Greg was pushing. He said, we'll chain you up by your neck for a week in the basement. I'm going to shave your head. We're going to, we're going to dye your skin orange. The shaved head will dye green. And he wanted to get a tattoo above Billy, the teenager, above her, right above her rear end that says, I'm a liar. So a lot of what you're going to hear from this has to do with that. Now, Sarah was, I believe she was 14. She was a 14-year-old girl that was living with him. She might have been 15, so forgive me on the age, but she was living with him at the time as a minor. And my understanding is Lainey had power of attorney or some sort of parental control over her. She wasn't adopted or anything, but I guess she was not in a good situation with her family. So she was friends with Kai / Lainey at the time, who said, why don't you come live with us? And a lot of what you've been seeing lately is Sarah now speaking out about what happened, because sure enough, as we were all saying, Greg loves the teenage girls and he ends up grooming them. And in my opinion, that is exactly what happened. So when you hear reference to Sarah, that's who we're talking about with the Billy thing, the chaining them up, that's what we're talking about. Now, when I had, talked to Kai/Lainey, right? I'm saying Kai/Lainey so you don't get confused when you hear her referred to as Lainey, because at this point, that's how she went by. So I had, both she and I were not prepared. And she even says she was very scared. I'll give you guys some insight. I had a lot of compassion for her back then, but I also was one of the few big voices calling her out, because my thing was, so Billy, who has anxiety, and Lainey/Kai, who has anxiety and understands anxiety, you're going to take a girl, take her medicine, herbs away from her that help her, with her anxiety, and she enjoys recreationally, and you are going to put her in your basement and chain her up and do all those things to her, while you not only have your own children in the house, a boy and a girl, who see this and see somebody chained up in their basement, you also have another teenager that you have power of attorney over that's being witness to this. And I was screaming at the top of my lungs, this is abuse. Oh my gosh, get these girls out of there. What is happening? And I got a lot of backlash because I had done so many videos. I can understand now, understanding how YouTube works. At the time, the topic wasn't trendy enough. I was one of the first beginning voices, big voices, I should say. There were other people talking about it, but a big voice to really shine a big spotlight on this. And I got a lot of crap for it, just like I did Daddy 05. But I can look back now and I can be proud of the work that I did. We can argue all day, every day if I made too many videos, but at the end of the day, I educated people on what was going on and helped be a part of a movement for YouTube to lessen Onision's reach to be able to be damaging to his audience. So for that, I'm very happy. I don't wish destruction or harm on anyone, not Onision, not Kai, not anybody. But at the end of the day, Onision still cannot understand that what he did is predatory, because he says he went by the laws. What bothers me is that Kai literally has a degree in psychology. And if you watch my debate, and this is what I kept telling her with this, I said, listen, you have a degree in psychology, so you know better than I do. The brain doesn't fully form and develop until you're 25, which is why we have laws against marrying and going after children. That's one of the reasons. Adults doing that with children. We have age gaps. So why are you okay with this behavior? So I got a lot of crap for calling Lainey out back then, because people said, oh, she's a victim. I'm like, I do think she's a victim to Greg. I absolutely do. However, she's still complicit. So a lot of what you're going to hear is me saying, look, if your husband is going to put all of your guys' stuff out there and he is going to showcase that you guys are doing abuse in the home, if you don't step out and stand against it, then it looks like you are enabling his behavior and you are part of it. And her whole thing is, he does what he does, I want to stay out of it, but then she also wants to be a social media influencer. And at that time, I think she still does, she had a YouTube channel with 300,000 subscribers and was posting regularly on You Now. And the scary thing is, and I edited most of this out, but I want you guys to know, the things I did edit out, number one, it's so long I can't put everything in there. She guested several children who are questioning their identity and their gender. And there was a lot of just talking to them and, hey, I'm on Instagram, so DM me and we can talk about it if you want. I think she probably has good intentions, but knowing that Greg seems to use her when it comes to luring in girls and stuff, it's looking back now, it's very concerning. And I'm really happy. I'm not happy that this has occurred, but I'm happy to see that I was right in my assessment about this. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to give you guys some insight into what you're going to see for people who don't know what this is. So this was me as nicely as I could confronting her on this stuff. And because she had anxiety, I want, because this is the other thing. People might think I was, after what I did with Onision, I was being super nice. Well, she came at me really nice and respectful. And when people do that with me, even if I don't like you or disagree with you, I'm going to meet you in kindness, within reason. And I just try to be as nice as I can to everybody. I even started out really polite with Greg. Doesn't mean I was okay with his stuff. Doesn't mean I didn't have bones to pick with him. But if I'm going to have a formal discussion, it wasn't a formal discussion, but I was trying to make it formal, I'm going to be as polite as possible. So I wanted to give you guys just some heads up on that. And there's more to this story. So first of all, I was streaming afterward, and many of the girls that have been on Chris Hansen had come on my stream, including Sarah, and then Kai / Lainey's sister came on, and they all were confronting each other. It was a mess. I've been going back and forth whether or not to put anything up about the girls, because I don't know if they really want to be involved at this point. And as a result, I was very friendly. I don't know if friends would be the word, because I've learned you have to be very careful when you say the word friend, right? But I was in group chats with them. There were some times where they confided a little bit in me, and I've always tried to respect their privacy, because I know what that's like to not have that. And this was a public thing, but my channel back then, I ended up removing a handful of months later, because people had just gotten insane and very, very harassing and really, really ridiculous. But I do have the sister where she confronts, and here's the really funny thing, and you'll see this later. I'm not gonna talk about this right now, but at the end of all this, Greg ended up calling the police on me and reporting me to the police, and it's hilarious. So stay tuned for part 3. So there is going to be a part 3 that comes out about this, because I'm going to go into that story and how funny it is. So you're probably going to get riled up watching this, because you are going to see, and I don't really want to say too much, you'll see it for yourself, Lainey being very anxious, very scared, and we're being as respectful, we're being respectful. I'm being super nice to her. And as soon as I get off that stream, her, whatever gloves she does have, started to come off immediately, which I was very frustrated about, because I was like, you could have just talked to me. Like, I'm not this horrible person. But to them, I think I was a big threat, because I was a huge voice that got super popular, super quick, outing what they were doing. And years later, I happened to be right. And I'm not saying this to gloat, like, I was right. But, it's when you have so many people screaming how horrible you are, which happened to me on YouTube. And when I left YouTube, I did a lot of introspection and self-reflection as I've been getting physically better. And I had to really sit and assess that. I'm like, did I go too far? Was I not helpful? Maybe I was wrong. I was hurtful to people. And, there were things that I see now that I can admit to and see, but I even question this. And so to know that my instincts were right, and that my capacity to see through these kind of people are right, and that I actually did help, it brings me peace, and I'm happy with that. So, okay, I know this is a bit of an introduction, but I know there are new people. So hi, new people, hi. I wanted to give you guys kind of an understanding of what this is. And I mean, honestly, this debate was so crazy, I could make 10 videos on it. I don't really want to. I'm sure, I don't know if you guys would want to watch them, but there were so many crazy parts to it. But yeah, the finale, the piece de la resistance is that he called the police on me. And it's so funny. I'm like, I've never called you or been to your house. You have only reached out to me. I have always told people to respect your privacy and to be as nice as they can to you, even if you're not to them. I was just a very big voice outing the behaviors that I ended up being correct about. And that's a threat to what they're doing. And that's why they're upset. I think with Kai, it's a bit different. I think Kai is in the thick of the manipulation and is just going to go along with whatever Onision really wants and says, because Onision, Greg, is the one that ends up having the power in the relationship. But that's also why he likes him young, because he wants it to be that way. Okay, guys, so without further ado, it's a French word. That's it. You probably knew that. I don't know why I said that. I just like saying that silly adieu. So without further ado, and in a very orange sweatshirt. This isn't a sweatshirt. This is a sweater. I love this. This is another new one, another sweater dress. And I like oranges and I like peaches. I don't have enough of them, but I love colors. So I will go ahead and play this, and you can see it for yourself. And by the way, if anybody's new, or even if you were watching back then, you have comments or questions, leave them in the comments. Let me know, and I will try to answer them in the other videos. So you're going to probably see a few videos this week about this situation. Let me know if you want to see more of it, because again, it was a train wreck. It was a crap show, but it was a very big forewarning on what we're seeing now. Okay, my nose itches, so I'm going to go, because if I scratch it, it's going to look like I'm picking it. Okay, here we go. On with the show. Itch. No.
Hi.
Hey. By the way, I'm not trying to attack you or anything. It's very nice to meet you, so I'm not here to... I didn't know I was going to talk to you, but nice to meet you, and I'm happy to talk about whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just don't want to yell. I don't want any yelling, because I'm already a bit anxious about this.
No worries.
I'm sorry. I know you see me hyped up. I got really no issue with you personally, so don't worry about that. Onision, I'll deal with a different way, but I'm happy to keep calm with you because I do have anxiety at times too, so I understand.
Yeah. Well, I know that you had an issue, like, well, I know you talked to those girls who claimed they dated me, and that was upsetting to me because I didn't date them or do any of the stuff they said I did. So I'm like, I was really upset about that because it just made no sense to me and no one came to me first. Mind you, I don't know what Haley said because I didn't finish the video, but
sure,
what Aaron said was just completely untrue. So I don't know. That was really upsetting to me because I literally talked to her for like 2 weeks. I never dated her. I never asked for passwords. I've never asked anybody for passwords in my life. So that's like not something I would do. Anybody who knows me knows that's not something I would do. I hate confrontation. I would never, that's never something I would do or get in someone's face like that. So,
no,
sorry.
I hear you.
I'm like shaky.
Oh no, I swear, like, I'm not this horrible person. I've got issues with your husband. I'm not going to hide that, but no, I don't really have that many issues with you. So I'm not going to attack you and stuff. And I want to say sincerely, because I know we did a little bit of tweeting back and forth and you had the live stream. I did try to reach out, and here's my thing, please, and I hope you don't take this rudely. You, at that time, well, even now, you're a much bigger known person than me, so I didn't expect to hear from you. You know, like, my goal wasn't to hurt you, because in fact, if you watched my videos a long time ago, I was really supportive of you. And I still am in many ways. There are things that I've seen, because your husband puts out, that I don't like, but I still have a lot more support for you in this situation. I did try to reach out, and then when you had the live stream, I don't know if you remember, I did try to tweet at you respectfully to see if you wanted to talk in your point of view, and you didn't, and that's fine. I wasn't upset with you about it, you know, but I did try to see if I could. I just want you to know that. It wasn't like a gotcha thing, but at the same time, I hope you realize that the reason I did all that was because, and I would love to get your opinion on this if you want, and you don't have to say anything you don't want to because my issues are with your husband. Okay. The reason why I was so upset was because at that time your husband was doing the stuff where he puts girls on the channel and rapes their bodies, and some came out as young as 12. And legally, that's actually an issue because if you're making money off of it, then you have to have a contract or the parents can actually come after you. That was my biggest issue. And I wanted to know, and see, it's hard because what he does, you can't help. He's his own person, right? But
I mean, that's a big issue too. People come after me when I don't control anything he does. And I think a lot of people misunderstand. First of all, I think a lot of people misunderstand like how he actually is in person, because he's very different when he's off the camera. And I know people are going to say that I'm lying when I say that, but I'm not. And I also I don't know. I think that people think that I can control whatever he does, and I can't. And there's a lot of things that he does that I disagree with too. But again, it's not my decision what he does and does not do on his channels. And if he does something that I disagree with, I tell him that I disagree with it, and it's never an issue. He doesn't get mad at me. He doesn't, like, I have my opinion, he has his opinion. And I've done it publicly before too. Like, people have seen that I, you know, have said stuff like when the whole Black Lives Matter thing was going on. I said stuff on the other end of that debate, and I didn't agree with him, and like, that was that. But like I said, I can't do anything to change the things he does. And like the stuff with my ex, I said in my video, I didn't agree with a lot of how that happened. I didn't agree that he put private information out there. I didn't agree that he had asked, well, it was kind of both of them talking back and forth about terms or whatever. I wasn't involved in any of that. I had actually texted her and said, you know, I don't want to reconcile things. I think that this has gone on too long and we're not compatible. I have the texts saved. So like, I had told her that. So I had nothing to do with any of that. That was them discussing terms, and it wasn't just one-sided. She wanted terms. She agreed to certain things that I didn't want to happen, you know, like I didn't even want to work things out. And then all of it blew up publicly, which is the last thing I wanted to happen. I wanted this to end, like, I don't know, cleanly, I guess, on good terms, as good of terms as they were. Not great, but on better terms than they are now. But that's how it happened. And I didn't even want to have to make a video about it, but I felt like it was unfair because everybody else has got to make a video about the whole situation except for me, because I'm trying not to cause problems, and then I get lumped in that I'm doing something bad, or I did something bad to her, which I really didn't. I don't know. I don't know if that's something I want to talk about either, but
No, it's okay. And
like
if it's
whole...
cool, I'll kind of tell you the perspective where me and some other people came from. And I don't know if I know you saw the interview at least. I don't know if you've seen my other videos. I actually try to be a lot more like, I'll give credit where it's due. I'll give points where it's due. And in many of my videos, I've really, really supported you because I think, and I'm not trying to get into the whole bulk of your relationship, but with what your husband puts online, it is unfair to you. Like and I'm not trying to put your relationship down. I'm saying that it puts you in an unfair spot because he's putting out private personal information that has to do with you. That can be really damaging. And it puts you in a spot where to public perception, if you don't speak out, it looks like you support it and that you are enabling it. I'm not saying you are. I'm just letting you know what it looks like. And so I think what a lot of people were upset about was the severity of the situation. And the severity we felt like it didn't look like you or your husband were taking it seriously, even though you addressed it, because you have anxiety, right? I get anxiety. So I know what that's like. So I know exactly like what that feels like. And as far as we're aware, the ex that you guys had, I don't want to say your name. She has anxiety.
Well, she's here apparently. So, and she's saying I did ask her for a password, but I never did. That Greg did ask her for her phone password once, not because of what she's saying, but because she she was texting Rag Reynolds or something, and he asked to see it. That's all it was. But I never asked for a password. And she knows that I would have never asked her for a password because I was scared to death to ask her for anything, including, the one thing I ever asked her, she went behind my back and did anyways. So.
I gotcha. Okay. And I think the public perception is that if she has anxiety, and I will say this, and I know you and your husband are really anti-drugs. I'm similar. I don't have the same staunch stance.
I'm not anti-drugs. I'm not anti-drugs. Okay. I think that people should do what they want to do, but I personally do not want drugs in my life. I don't want people who do drugs or prioritize drugs in my life. And that's where that comes from. Like, I don't care if you smoke weed. I don't care what you do on your own personal time. But if you are going to, if that's going to be a big part of your life, then we're, not going to get along. It's not going to work out because that's not something I want as a part of my life. And I've had the same issue, my ex-boyfriend and from high school. The exact same reason that relationship ended. Well, on top of a lot of other things, it was, a big thing. But there's nothing wrong with that. That it's my decision what I do and do not want in my life. It doesn't have anything to do with I'm anti-drug or I'm anti-pot or whatever. I think that pot should be legal. I think people should do what they want, but that's not something I want for my personal life. So, there's nothing. That's all I have to say.
And Lainey, you and I actually agree in that because funny enough, when I was in high school, I had a 3-year relationship with a guy that did the same thing with drugs with me. So I agree with you there. Here's what I wanted to get at. The one thing that and this is something I've done as I've gotten older, I've gotten a little more tolerant in the sense of, so for instance, with Billy, I know I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say her name, I'm not trying to upset you, that's slip of the tongue. She has talked about that she uses it for her anxiety. For instance, I use CBD oil. Now that won't get you high, but that helps me with my fibromyalgia and my pain, and I'm sure you don't have an issue with that. But I know, with you and I having crippling anxiety, the issue I think a lot of us had was that because she lied about, I know there was a few things. So I don't remember all of them at the moment, but I know one of them was smoke. I believe it had to do with smoking pot or the way she did it.
Well, that was several times. It wasn't so much about the pot as it was about the lying. And I saw someone say if I knew she did that, why did I get in a relationship with her? I didn't know she did that. She lied to me about the fact that she didn't do that. So I didn't know, or else I wouldn't have continued that relationship after that.
I would say this, though.
Been there, done that, and I don't want to do it again.
Sure, and I will say this, and by the way, there's no right or wrong. I'm just curious on what you think. If it's what she uses to deal with her anxiety, if this is, because I know, and you know how it is, a lot of the drugs they give people for anxiety or mental illness can really do damage elsewhere. For some people, they work. For some people, they don't. Everybody's body is different. Would you be okay? Would you still not be okay with it if it's something that she used for crippling anxiety? The thing is, I don't want it around me. That was literally my thing. Sure.
And so
you have kids, right?
Exactly. That's not something I want to condone to my children. That's not the example I want to set. So
right, and you have every right, and I don't disagree with you there. You have every right. I think where our concern came in was that I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I might have some details wrong, per your husband's request, because she lied, that she was going to have to dye her skin orange, shave her head bald, but dye it green. She was going to have to get a tattoo that says "I'm a liar" right above her butt. She was going to be chained up by her neck and it for a week in the basement. And as you know, having crippling anxiety, and I have anxiety that comes up time to time, that could, and without her being able to have access to anything that could help her calm it down, because that's not what you condone, which is fine, that's your right, that to us, that is a very dangerous looking situation. And furthermore, that's a form of psychological abuse to do to somebody. And I'm not saying you agreed with it, because you came out and said you didn't agree with it. But the problem is that it seemed like you kind of brushed it over. And the appearance was that you stood by him and for a while actually agreed to it. And we were concerned going, so are your kids going to see this girl mutilated and chained up in the basement? And so a lot of us, that was a lot of where the concern was. And because it didn't look like you came out strongly against that, they're like, we looked at it as you were supporting it. And I know your husband has said it's BDSM, but that's not necessarily like what he tried to do, unless I'm wrong, is not considered BDSM by BDSM standards. So that I'm not sitting here accusing you. I'm just telling you why I was upset and how it looked to other people.
Well, here's the thing about that. She had asked, I wasn't even talking to her at this point. This was after I had said I don't want to reconcile things with her. She and her and him were talking, and she asked like for extreme terms, and many of the terms that he discussed with her involved making a video, apologizing to me or something. Again, I didn't want to get back with her.
Sure.
And that basement thing was one of the things he threw out. He threw out several, and that was the one that she liked, and that was like what she wanted to do. And then we asked her if she had smoked since, or he asked her, I didn't ask her. He asked her if she had smoked since we broke up with her, and she said yes, so we ended it there. Like, it was never something that was like going to happen or anything like that. Like, I was never really involved in any of this, besides I saw the text after it happened. So, like, after the discussion happened and after we already said, like, we found out that she had smoked again and that we wanted to end it there. So, a lot of this happened between them two and not with me, which is, you know, my issue with the entire relationship, if I'm being honest. It was a lot of me on the sideline.
Right,
so
that's not fair to you. And I want to say, this is where I've always and this is no shade to Billy at all, but this is where I've always supported you, in that a lot of this was really unfair to you. And I think from a lot of our perceptions, it looked like your husband was going behind your back and going back and forth between you two. And it wasn't. That's why in the beginning, and in many ways, I'm still a very big supporter, because it wasn't right to you. And that's why
they both were. And I've been honest about that. There's a lot of things he did that were awful to me. That really hurt me.
Right. Of course. And I agree with that. And I can't, like, honestly, you having 2 children, I would be fucking hurt. Like, so I can understand that we aren't seeing the side of you that is emotionally wrecked from the situation, you know, and I get that. And I would be a nutcase. But I will say this. It did look like, even though everything was agreed between them, it looked like that what we saw was that you condoned it and you were okay with it.
Well, I talked about it in my video. I tried to do it vaguely because I didn't really want to get into it, but I did say in my video that this is not something I wanted, and I told her that publicly or privately through text, because she asked me if it was something that, you know, I thought she deserved or whatever, and I said no. And I said that I never suggested it. I never was on board with any of this, and I didn't even know the texts were happening as they were happening for the most part. So she probably still has that text. I may still have that text. I don't think it's relevant. Like, I mean, I feel like people are going to take my word for it. If not, I mean, I probably have the text. I don't have the conversations, but I did screen cap some things just in case.
No, and I believe you. I hope I'm coming across that way. I'm not trying to accuse you of being a liar. I do believe you in this. But what I do want to still drive this point home. If you don't come out against it strongly, and if you were okay with what they came up with, then what happens is...
I wasn't.
Right. I'm just telling you how it looks. It looks like you were enabling your husband trying to be abusive, because nobody should have to pay for messing up that way. And I know you're saying that. I'm just telling you how it looked to all of us.
I kind of don't understand why she's here, so... Sorry.
That's okay. If you need a moment, like, take your time, girl. You do you. Like, you've been put through some not. I want you to know, like, the internet sees it. We see it. And I'm not trying to paint you as a victim, because I think you're a strong woman. I really do. You, like, as you know, my channel started 6 months ago, and my channel's grown. It's overwhelming for me. And you've been kind of thrown into all this. You know? So, like, I do want you to know I have a lot of compassion for you. I really, really do. You've been through a lot of not fair shit. Even your husband has admitted that. And I don't want to sit here. I'm not trying to attack. I just hope I can give you a perspective on how it's looked to everybody else. I hope I'm coming across respectful.
But, I mean, I said this earlier. My point is that, I guess from my point of view, it's like Greg is not the person he portrays online at all. And so to have people, like, act like this is, like, I'm being abused, besides what happened that, like, with that relationship, which I will agree was really fucked up, there's nothing like that going on, and people treat me like I don't know what's going on and that I'm not aware that he's abusing me or whatever, and people don't know him. They know what he puts forward, and that's not who he is as a person.
Let me ask this. Could it be that that's not who he is to you? Because, like, all I know of my exchange with him is somebody who's not very nice to me, and he's not been very nice to a lot of people. Now, he seems to adore you. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, for the most part, it seems like, he loves you and cares about you, but do you think it's that he just treats you differently than the rest of people? And I'm not saying that's the case.
I've been around him and others, like, in person. He's a different person. Like, I mean, my family's been here. He's good to them, besides my dad, but that's, like, my dad hasn't been here, to be fair. But there's a lot of other things that went on with my dad. And to make that clear, my dad is not our lawyer. My dad has only given me some legal advice. He was never going to be the one to facilitate any of that. That's not what he does. That's not the kind of attorney that he is. So
okay, well, and that's what your husband alluded to in our conversation. And maybe that's misspeaking. I'm open. That could be miscommunication. So that's good to know. That's definitely good to know. Yeah, like, I really, like, I just want to tell you, like, I don't know you, but I feel like I can, in a lot of ways, relate to some stuff you're going through, and I feel like a lot of stuff hasn't been fair. Honestly, my opinion is I don't think things were fair to you or to Billy. But I especially think Billy, because of what your husband came up with as a punishment, obviously. And with you, I mean, I just don't, here's where, I want to put this out there, and I've said this before. And please, I hope I'm not coming across like I'm attacking you. The brain doesn't fully develop until you're 25. Like, I think you study psychology, right? So you probably are aware of some of what I'm referring. Okay, so I didn't mean to, like, come across like I'm educating you. I just realized you probably know this. So, those centers of it, like, where the decision making is and consequences, that doesn't fully form. The reason why a lot of us are so mad at your husband is because it looks to us like he has been taking advantage mentally of you and other people that he, or maybe both of you, agreed to pull into your relationship at times, because these people don't yet have the life experience or literally the brain development yet to be able to understand what they're getting into. Like, girl, before my mid-20s, I was a mess. I mean, like, not like you. You got your together. You're like an adult. You have a degree. You're a mom. You're doing really well for yourself. But I know me and a lot of people I knew, because we were just really reactive. And you don't seem reactive. You do seem very emotional, but you're not reactive. I think you're the kind of person, it looks like that you internalize it all. And that's why it comes out as anxiety when you're dealing with stuff, which makes sense. And I'm not trying to diagnose or anything, but my point is that your husband is older and he knows better. And to us, it looks really irresponsible, the situations he keeps putting you and he keeps putting these other young girls into. It's not fair to you guys. And that's how it looks to us.
Well, initially, this relationship was just supposed to be between her and I, and that the two of them kind of, well, in January when everything happened, the two of them kind of decided that it wasn't just the two of us. I don't know. I wasn't really on board with that decision. But I decided that it probably would be for the best, and I tried to become comfortable, but I don't know. I couldn't, and both of them didn't really respect that. So, and I don't want to say just she, it was both of them. But
And I think
the issue with what happened in November is partially my fault because I did not talk to Greg about my concerns with that and my boundaries. I came to my ex because I wanted, I told her I'd feel more comfortable coming to her about it because I felt like I could trust her and I felt like she would keep my best interest in mind. And I didn't want to cause any problems, right? I didn't want to make anybody upset. And she said, of course, I would never do that to you. But turns out the next day, she literally went behind my back. Literally next day, or actually same day, right after the discussion. So, and people have said, I fault her more than I fault him. And I kind of do in that regard because I didn't talk to him. And that's on me. I should have talked to him too. So everybody was in had the same understanding. But
real quick, I just want to interject. Really, here's what I look at. He's much older than you guys. His brain is developed. He's been in many relationships. He's been around longer. To us, it looks like it's on him. Because he's older, he's more developed, there is more of a responsibility, naturally, that should be put on him to know better in these situations. And that's where
I had essentially given him permission, but I wasn't exactly sure what I was agreeing to. So, because it was vague the way we talked about it. And that's not his fault. It's not my fault. I should have clarified then. But instead I clarified to her. So that's what I mean. Why I fault her more for that specific situation.
I would say this though. Do you think it's possible that, because I think this is where a lot of our concern is, because we see, at least from what we can see, because you're right, I don't know your husband outside the internet, so who's to know if I know what's really going on, right? But from what we can see, your husband can be, and he even said this in that, thing about having manipulative language. Is it possible that behind the scenes he was manipulating both of you? Because to us, that's what it looked like, and that's why we were all upset for both of you.
I don't know where she's coming from, because she won't really explain any of it to me. She never has. Just when I called her out for it, she got extremely angry at me and started cussing at me and calling me a bitch and all these other things. So I didn't really ever get a chance to understand where she was coming from. But, I've said too that he, especially back in January, there was manipulative language when he said he wouldn't do anything with her that a friend wouldn't do. I've said that. And I don't know. He said that. We both agreed to that. That was exactly what happened. But I don't know. I don't really know where this is going. As
okay. I didn't know we were going to be talking. I mean, it's nice. Like I said, like I've said before, you're a really pretty young girl. And I'm sorry, that's not I'm not saying it as a put down. I'm 33, so when I say girl, I mean compared to me, I'm a lot older. You're a very pretty young woman. You're very smart. You're educated. You put up with a lot of. And I figured you'd be a really nice person, and you seem, as far as to me, what I can see is somebody you've been a lot more kind and respectful than your husband has to me, which I appreciate. And is there anything that is there any amends I should make with you? Because if I'm the kind of person, if I've done something wrong, I will apologize. That's something I do on my channel. And if you feel that I owe you an apology, if there's something I can do for you, I'm happy to do it. You just let me know.
I haven't seen any of your stuff except for I watched the first part of that video about the interview or whatever with Aaron and Haley. I didn't see the part with Haley, so I don't know what was said there. I can tell you 100% that what Aaron said was absolutely not true. 100 million% was not true. I talked to her for maybe a month. Maybe. And I was never dating her. It was never implied that I was going to date her. I never asked for a password. There was none of that ever happened. We never discussed her coming to my graduation. I just don't understand where any of that came from. So it'd be great if that video could be taken down since it's not true, and I've gotten people coming to me saying that I've done this stuff when I didn't do any of that. And I've seen some people in the comments too, saying, Aaron is here apparently, because Aaron keeps making accounts to come here for some reason, saying that I burned all of Billy's stuff. I didn't. I sent her 3 boxes of her things. I spent over $100 shipping her back her things. And she has not sent me any of my things that she still has. She has like $300 worth of my clothing that I've asked for back, and she won't send it back. There was like a couple of things that got burned, but that got burned back in, and they weren't really like her things. They were things that we were sharing and that were at my house. They weren't just hers, you know. It was like a onesie thing. It's that Care Bear one that I was wearing that one time.
That's cute, by the way.
That was back in November, before she even came back for the final time. And she didn't have a problem with it then, so I don't know why it's a problem now. But yeah, like I said, I sent her back boxes and boxes of everything I found in my house. She left this giant unicorn that we bought for her here. I sent that to her. I stuffed it in a box, and I paid $50 to send it to her because I wanted her to have all her stuff that she left here. I sent her stuff that I had bought her after she left and before we broke up, that technically I shouldn't have even given to her, but I bought it for her, so I wanted her to have it. I went through everything in my house, and I found everything I could. I found one thing since then, and it's like a tiny little guitar pick. And that's the one thing I didn't send. So I don't know why this is like a whole big thing, but like she never sent me my stuff, you know? She has several pairs of my pants. She has several of my shirts. She has a lot of my stuff. And I've never gotten any of it back. So I don't understand that either. Sorry. I know that's not really related to you. I just saw somebody talk about it in the chat, and it bothers me.
You know, I'm not really close with Billy, but I am in contact. I don't know if you'd be comfortable. I could try to help facilitate to get whatever exchanged. I don't know if that's weird to offer, but I'm happy to help.
I don't want anything to do with her.
Okay.
Like, at all.
Okay.
And I know that I've heard rumors that she's talking about things she should not be talking about, including my children. So.
Okay. I don't know anything about that, but I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not aware of that. Real quick, people in the chat
that's absolutely not okay with me.
And I understand that. I hear you there, and I can agree with that. And real quick, people are saying in the chat, I just want to bring this up. They're saying I'm misgendering you. Oh Lord, this is my memory stuff. It is not intentional. What? And the they them thing, my brain fries out. I'm like, I don't know how to form the sentence. Is it okay if I'm saying she? Should I try?
I'm not going to police it. I'd prefer they, but as of right now, I'm not going to police it.
Okay, I just know it's not intentional. I'm stupid. Just understand. It's my issue right now. I'm dumb to remembering or even forming it. They them. I've tried before and I always fail. Right on. Well, is there anything else you wanna talk about or clear up? Because I'm happy to do it. And you're so nice. You're really nice.
If you have something you need me to clear up, really the only thing I think I can say as far as the issue with Greg or whatever is that he's not in a lot of ways he's not the person that everybody seems to think he is. Like this horribly abusive, I don't know what else person to me especially, and everybody I've been around with him in person, he's nice to. I think that and you guys have seen, I'm sure some of you have seen when I broadcasted with him, he literally turns into a different person in front of the camera. He just, the energy comes on, the, offensive humor comes on, all that. But, in person, he's, one of the most laid-back people I've ever met. He's quiet, and he's really chill. And so, people, I don't know, people just have this idea of him that's not him. And that bothers me a little bit, you know? And especially
I wish he would show us. I wish that, and that's always my issue, because I kept thinking, I'm like, Greg could be this coolest person. We've all seen it. He cares a lot about animals and vegetarianism. He's got, as far as we can see, a lot of good points. I wish he had the confidence to just come out and be himself rather than play these characters and the villain just to try to get attention. I agree with you. I
don't think it's a comfort thing. I think this is his job, and that's what he does. So
True, but I would say this, to play devil's advocate, it is, because at least if you're an actor, people know you go to a set, you act, you're a different person. Greg blurs those lines so that if he doesn't clarify, then it goes beyond acting into it's a form of what looks like to us is lying, because he's not being clear with it. And that's where we all get really confused, because there's not that clarity. He will come at us and this is exactly what it is. And with, you know how it is, he can be really confident with a lot of assurity and almost sometimes aggressive. You know, and I don't mean like physically. I just mean like with, you know, he asserts himself a lot. Mm-hmm. But then he'll turn around every so often and say everything is fake, but then convince us that it's not. So it's very confusing for people.
I wouldn't say it's fake. Like the things, like the points he makes or whatever is truly what he believes. I'm just saying he's not as aggressive as a person, or he's not, I don't know, I think you guys seem to have this opinion that all this stuff goes on behind the scenes that doesn't go on. Like, obviously I get tons of stuff like saying that I need to go to a shelter, or I need to this, and that, and that is just outrageous to me. That idea is outrageous to me.
I think you need to do whatever feels right for you and your kids. Like, it's none of our business.
And that's what I am doing.
Right. No, I agree with that. And I agree with that sentiment. You need to do whatever feels right for you and your kids. And as long as you're doing that, and, you know, then that's nobody else's business. But again, like, I just wanted to, since you were here, I thought I'd take a moment to just kind of go over the perception. And this is just, again, this is just my perception, my experience. Or I don't want to even say advice, because I don't know you well enough to, you know, give advice. I'm not trying to be arrogant, but what I would say is, if there was ever a situation again that includes what looks like to us a lot of abuse, what might be a good idea is to come out strongly against it if you don't agree with it, because otherwise it looks like enabling. And I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but that's what it looks like to everybody.
Sorry, I was talking to my sister. Okay. She said she didn't do eyeliner. The reason I don't talk about a lot of this publicly is because I don't like the drama. I don't like to talk it. I don't like any of this, you know. Clearly I'm like crying. But yeah, that's why I don't talk about a lot of it, because I never feel like I feel like I owe everyone an explanation. If I make like a statement and then people ask questions, I feel like I owe explanations, and then it turns into this big thing, and then I'm just like a wreck over this. And that's not, I don't like to be like that. I don't like to feel like that. So for the most part, I try to just stay away from all of this. Like I don't look at comments anymore. I don't address anything like this anymore, because I don't want to be a part of it. But I heard you say, like, I'm happy to speak to Lainey. So I texted him and I said, if she wants to speak to me, I will. And that's why I came in here.
Yeah, right on. And I'll re-clarify really quickly. I agree. I'm not saying that I think every scandal you should speak up on, but if it's something that involves you, the relation, something that, like with the Billy thing, that was a big thing. I think we can both agree that was a very, very big thing that you were thrown into. I think in that situation, you kind of...
But I mean, it's partially my fault too. I will say that. I'm the one who, like, met her. I'm the one who brought her here. I'm the one who brought her back. A lot of it is my fault too.
Right, so. But again, he's old enough that he should know better, and it's not that we think you're dumb. It's not that at all. It's not like, oh, poor Lainey's just dumb, doesn't know what she's doing. That's just, again, it's part of the growing up experience, and this is where I think the bigger responsibility should be on him. He's got more life experience, and that's no fault of yours. It's just as a result of age and being out in the world longer. But I think if there's ever something that's that big, I think you really do. If you don't agree with it, you have to come out strong and take a stand. Otherwise, it looks like you're enabling, and it looks like that you're just okay with it. And I'm not saying you are, but I'm just telling you that I think you personally could avoid certain things by doing that. And I think the good thing about you having a channel is you have a platform where you can, and I know you've been more active on it. And by the way, I loved your video on anxiety. I really did. In fact, a lot of my audience did, because a lot of us suffer from anxiety and depression and things. So I just want to say, like, good job on that. I really, really like that piece.
Well, that's the thing, is I don't like to talk about this stuff on my channel, because I want my channel to be a positive space. And I don't want to make other people feel like I feel when I get involved in this drama. Especially, you know, you said a lot of people suffer from anxiety. I know that the drama makes me anxious. And so I imagine that people watching it, whether they're on one side or the other, feel anxious as well. And I don't want my channel to become that. I want my channel to be a positive space for people.
you know what, Lainey? I used to have a really similar thought when it came to, because it took me a long time to put myself on YouTube. And because I kind of thought, well, I want to always keep it positive. But I think, Lainey, that like, and this is just my opinion, I think that it can be just as positive to share your experience. Because when I looked at your video, it didn't make me anxious. It made me relate. Does that make sense? Like, it didn't make me feel anxious for you or you're the victim. It made me feel like she's a real person. And watching you go through it can be, just feeling like somebody can relate and share something with you can be a healing experience for people. And so in that can be a positive. And I'm not telling you what to do or that you should do that. I'm just giving you another perspective.
Well, I have tried to keep, like, you know, my objections to certain behavior private. And my ex can tell you this, that I, like I said earlier, I texted her and I said that I didn't, you know, agree with what, like, the terms or whatever. Mind you, that was back, like, in November, because when everything happened, like, in January, was it, I was no longer speaking to her. And I haven't spoken to her since. I have not keeping tabs because I don't want to.
Right.
But I don't like everything to blow up publicly. I want to handle things behind the scenes. So sure, to you all, it comes off as enabling, but I don't think it's my job to come forward and be like, no, this isn't right, because I have said that, but I do it privately. That's how I want to handle things. I want to handle things privately. I didn't want this all to blow up. That's why when the breakup happened, and I didn't even say anything about it. Neither of us did, because I didn't want this to happen. I know that I would have had an easier time moving on from this had it ended when it ended, and this whole big thing didn't happen, although we're trying to come up with ways to come back or all this. But it should have ended when it ended, and things would have been easier to get over, for me at least. I don't know about her or him, but it would have been easier for me if it had ended that way. But they both just went at each other publicly, so then I was forced to say something as well. I felt like I was forced to, because if not, then again, it looks like I'm defending whatever, you know.
Right.
And I never wanted to have to do that.
Right. And I think this is where it's unfair, because unfortunately, when your husband does the kind of stuff he did with putting everything out there about Billy and the way that all went about, it puts you in an unfair situation where if you don't speak up and you don't say something, it looks like you're enabling. And that's the part that sucks. And it's unfair.
It's not my job to do all that, you know. He's his own person, I'm my own person, and it's unfair of other people to assume that I am automatically on his side just because I'm married to him, you know. Like, so again, it's not my job to come forward and like make all these videos and say all these things disagreeing with what he's saying, because I have my own opinions, but it's not my job to go in and make everybody see this, you know. People can have their opinion, but it's unfair of people to assume that I automatically have the same opinion as somebody just because I'm married to them. Like, we're separate people.
But what he's and I understand that. That's a fair point. But when he's bringing you into it, and it has to do with abuse, then I'm just telling you what it looks like. If you don't say something, it looks like you support it. And I'm just telling you what it looks like, not what you should do.
But I did say something. I said something to Billy, which is the person that was involved.
Right, but if you don't, because your husband made it public, if you don't address the public about it, it looks like you support it. I'm just telling you what it looks like. I'm not saying what you should do, what's right, what's wrong, but just what it looks like.
Well, he's the kind of person who likes to make things public, and I'm not. And so I guess therein lies the problem for you guys, because, like I said, we're different people. We disagree all the time. So... And
right.
if I have an issue with something he said or done, I tell him. But I don't need to tell him over Twitter. I don't need to tell him through my channel. I can tell him in person. And I do, often. He'll tell you that. Somebody, you know, I told you already.
It's not polite.
Alright, I don't know if you have anything else you need me to clear up or whatever.
No, I'm good unless there's anything you want to. It's nice to meet you. You are so sweet. It's really nice to meet you.
Thanks.
At least you happened to me. I can say that. I can sit here and say you've been really nice and respectful and really chill. And I enjoyed the conversation.
Okay, I don't know if this really helped anything, but...
I'm trying to
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking to me.
No.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Sorry, I gotta get going with the patrons.
Okay.
Yeah, we're all going now, so if you could say. Hasta la vista.
That's what I was doing. I dropped something, sorry.
No, you're good. So did he say he was leaving? Is he not coming back?
I guess he has to live stream on Discord because they're at 3.
Okay, so. Right on. Okay, well, unless there's anything else to talk about, I guess I can get off here and let you enjoy your day.
Okay. I don't know if this really helped anything, but
well, that's all right. Well, it's nice to meet you, and if you ever, not that you saying you have to, but if you ever feel the need to reach out and clarify something, not that you owe me anything, but I'm here, and I'm not like, I don't bite. I'm not a horrible person, and neither are you. But I'm happy to, if you ever need to talk about something.
Honestly, it's just that I'm tired of all this. You know what I mean?
Right, and it's because it's not fair to you.
It's nonstop about stuff that I feel is not even like, I don't know, is blown out of proportion.
Sure, and it's like I said, I agree that it's not fair to you.
I'm helping her pick out an outfit. Sorry.
No, take your time. I didn't know we were going to be talking, so it's not like we're
think I'm like being shady or something, but I'm just helping my sister pick out an outfit for a date. So.
And guys, the debate was supposed to be between me and Onision. Lainey and I don't even see this as a debate. We're just talking. Like we're just kind of chilling. So don't be upset for any reason. You've been really sweet.
I like the first one better.
Okay, I have 2 more coming.
All right. Well, yeah, I gotta go. So.
No worries. Well, it was
I don't
nice
know
to meet
if he
you.
wants to come and finish this off later, or I don't know what's going on with that, but
no worries. Well, I can say it was really nice to meet you. Thank you for being really sweet. Tell your husband, even though it went crazy, it was nice to meet him too. And if he needs to finish this up or whatever, he can, I guess, get at me. And yeah, if you ever need anything, Lainey, just reach out. Not that you would, but if you did, I'm around.
All right.
All right. You have a good day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. I don't know if Greg's gonna want to finish this later, but yeah, I don't know what that even solved. But yeah, thanks for watching and stuff. All right, bye.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and follow us on Twitter to keep up to date on your favorite streamers. Blarg you later.
Yeah, so because I just want to I don't want to do drama anymore. And so if people have questions they want me to clear up, I'm going to do it now and then I'm done. All right, cool. They're having a live chat on YouTube with Sarah and lots of girls. Well, if any of those people want to come here and guest me, that's fine. Including Sarah. Thank you, Manders, for 500 bars. So, who has a question? Joy was screaming at your sister. I know, I feel bad. My sister is extremely protective of me, even though she's my younger sister. She, her entire life, she's been very, very protective of me and, doesn't want, and, when she sees people, coming at me, she gets really upset. So, she just kind of went off on her own and did that. Yeah. Okay, I'm featured now. That's cool. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if Billy's actually live. I just saw somebody say that, so I read it. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just want shit to, I want to, forgive, people. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel good to harbor anger and hatred, especially, I'm not a person who gets angry very much, at all. Anger is a horrible feeling to me because I don't know how to deal with it, because I really don't get angry all that often. I usually get sad, and I can deal with being sad because I cry a lot. I have no problem crying. Thank you, Hope. So it's a release to get that out. But being angry, there's no release. And I just want to resolve. I want to resolve. do hate Joy. I don't like her, no. I'm tired of her talking about me and slandering me. Did I have any ideas that were thrown in as to punishing my ex? No, I did not. I was not a part of that conversation. I have these screenshots of me saying I don't want to reconcile things. I don't think that we are compatible, and I think that we should end things here. And she agreed with me. She said that we weren't compatible, and that was fine. But Joy isn't really slandering you, though. Joy literally made a video saying I was an abuser because a girl that I never dated spread a bunch of lies about me, asking for her passwords and dating her, and then not breaking up with her, even though I was never dating her, for my ex, which never happened. So yes, Joy did slander me. And Joy also accused me of doing things with Sarah that were inappropriate, which is also slander. I did hear what Joy said, and I responded to what Joy said. It's not my job to, make my drama, my private life public. Even if Greg decides to make his life public, just because I'm involved in his life doesn't mean I have to make mine public, or like things I don't want to talk about public. Joy's being really fake, I agree. And, thank you, Jackie. I had things I had planned on saying but didn't get around to because I was nervous. Clearly, I was nervous. Joy's streaming with Sarah and a bunch of snakes. Yeah, I know. I was, watching pieces of it earlier, but I don't... Yeah, I don't... These people can do what they please. They're saying Greg burned some of Billy things. I talked about this earlier. In November, and Greg has talked about this too, we had, 2 of her things here after everything happened, and then she had texted him and said, oh, hope you were happy with our new president or whatever, and, Greg didn't know what that means, so he got upset thinking, she was, a snake the whole time or something, and, we burned, the 2 things that we had, which was, one of them was my, onesie that I shared with her, so it wasn't really hers, and I can't remember what the other thing was. After we broke up in January, I sent her 3 separate boxes of all of her things that I found in my house, including things that I had bought as gifts for her before we broke up. So I sent her, and you guys can see this on her thing where she's selling or I think she sold it. It's a giant unicorn plush that we bought for her, and I sent that back to her, even though I didn't have to. It cost me $50 to ship. I stuffed it in a box. I put a guitar pick I found, her necklace, all of her clothes I found, the gifts I'd bought her, which were those rock digging things where you dig through the thing and you find the little gem or whatever. I had bought her 7 of those. I ended up sending those because I didn't want them. And yeah, I sent her everything in my house I could find. I looked all around and I sent her everything. Hair dye, yes, I sent her her hair dye. Thank you. So she can talk about the 2 things that we burned back in November that she knew about before she came back in December. That's fine. That did happen. But to clear things up, I did send all of her stuff back, and she still has several of my pants, several of my shirts that I let her borrow, did not give to her, because I did give her clothes, and she's more than welcome to keep those clothes that I gave her. I gave them to her. They are a gift. I'm not going to want those back. But the clothes that I did not give to her, she never gave back. So, and I hear she's selling them. I should probably check. Philly can sell whatever. It's hers now. No, she can't. I did not give her any of that stuff. She took it from my house, wore it to the airport, and kept it, and now is selling it. So essentially, she I did not consent to her having my things. Thank you, Jessica, for 50 bars. Would ever speak to Joy again after the chill discussion? I would speak to Joy again today, but not again after that. But I think, she's really nothing got accomplished with that. And these girls that are in her stream, thank you, Jackie, she knows that, they have lied about me before, and yeah. And I mean, I'm so grateful for Sarah to stand up for me like that. I really am. Sarah is a good friend. She is a really good friend. And Sarah was here through everything that happened, so Sarah knows, and Sarah's, I mean, she wasn't involved, but she was here. She saw it happen. It's an issue with Greg, not you. Clearly she has an issue with me because she literally said that I abused people and that I was trying to do inappropriate things with Sarah. So, yeah, she clearly has a problem with me. How tall are you? I'm 5'3". Yeah, I think that when Joy talked to me, she was very fake. Like, she was just like, oh, I support you. Oh, and I think she's doing the same thing to Sarah, too. She keeps talking down to her and then saying, I think you're beautiful. And it's like, I'm going to look in the, oh, another thing that annoyed me. People were talking about my ex's anxiety, which I never knew she had. She never talked to me about that. I'm not going to say she doesn't have it or does have it. That's her deal. But these people were like, oh, you didn't let her smoke weed for her anxiety. One, she never told me she had to smoke weed for her anxiety. That was never talked to with about me, so how was I supposed to know? Second of all, like, you guys are so concerned about just one person's anxiety, but another person's anxiety is, like, not important to you. Like, I can't even, like, talk about triggers publicly because I know people will try to troll me to trigger me. Like, it's very conflicting, hypocritical. Why did you not call Joy fake to her face? Because I was scared. I wasn't like, I just texted Greg and I was like, oh, if she wants to speak to me, I will. But I wasn't expecting it to happen. So I was a little like, Like I said, I just want to, like, heal. I want to be done with all this, and I want to move forward, and I want my my platforms to become a positive space for everybody, because I know that drama makes me feel bad, and I'm assuming people, like, it makes other people feel bad too. Like, people who are on my side, I would imagine that it upsets them to see things happening, and people who aren't on my side, it upsets them to see things happening to other people. And that's not what I want my platform to be. You know what I mean? Like, I want people to feel like they can come to my channel and leave feeling better than they did before they came to my channel, or to my YouNow, or to my Twitter, my Instagram, whatever. I want people to, I want to help people. I don't want to bring anybody down. You can't be positive when you're married to a narcissist. You actually can. Like, we're different people. And first of all, you aren't, I'm assuming you're not a psychologist, so I don't think that you can diagnose him. Even if you were a psychologist, you've never, had any sort of, like, appointment or any kind of contact with him besides what you see, and you cannot diagnose somebody like that. I have a psychology degree, so... And I wouldn't even try to diagnose because I have a bachelor's in psychology, so I'm not a practicing psychologist. I do not have the education to practice psychology, so I'm also not going to diagnose. I'm so proud of you, Lane. Stand by your side. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really agreed that she was super fake the minute you got on cam. Well, I was watching her go at it with Greg, and then I came in, and she's like, you're beautiful, you're blah, and I'm like, dude, you freaking called me abusive, like, in your video, and you took these girls' sides without ever reaching out to me and asking me if any of it happened, and I'm sure they're still on the stream. I don't know what one of them said. I've said that a lot, but I don't know what one of them said. Apparently, she did say we never dated. That's fine. That's great. I'm glad she did that. But, the one that I really, like, I was closer to the second one than I was the first, she, like, said that, she said that I dated her and like I asked for her passwords and all this stuff, and I was like, seriously? Did Onision enjoy debate? Kind of. Said that the kid should stay out of it. Yeah, I think that, yeah, like I said, she contradicts herself a lot, and yeah. The kids should stay out of it. They're not involved. She says you guys called each other girlfriends, but we're not official. I don't remember calling her my girlfriend, but again, this was years ago, so I have no idea. I literally never even talked to this girl on the phone. Like, that's how official this was. And I literally never asked for a password. And she said that I was insecure about her wanting Greg all the time, which she never even talked to Greg. Like, I literally never even mentioned her to Greg. Like, so, whatever. She's talking about your sister. Okay. My poor sister. She didn't have to get involved, but my sister, yeah, like I said earlier, my sister is really, she's a really good sister in the sense that she always sticks up for me. She always has. And I honestly feel a little guilty about it because I'm the older sister, so I really should be doing that for her, but she's always done it for me because I'm the weakest link, I guess. But yeah, she's a really good sister. Yeah, someone's saying, like Greg said, I had a mental illness. I do have a mental illness. I was diagnosed with 3 mental illnesses. Like, I will not deny that I am mentally ill. I have a generalized anxiety disorder. I have a panic disorder, and I have severe social anxiety. So yeah, those are my mental illnesses laid out for all of you people to see. And that was another thing that bothered me is like, she kept saying like, oh, we all get anxiety time to time. It's like, no, like this, it's not that I get anxious sometimes. Yes, we all get anxious sometimes. I will agree with that, but I have an anxiety disorder. Apparently I'm fake too. Okay, that's fine that you think that. I don't really care. She discussed with Joy. I already discussed with Joy. She kept saying, I understand, but then she's still going on. So clearly she doesn't understand. How do I feel about Greg sharing private information? I have already talked about this, that it was not something I was okay with. And I didn't know it was happening until the tweet was literally already deleted. Was there ever a moment you wanted to yell at Joy? No, I don't yell. I have yelled once in my life. I felt awkward when she kept complimenting you. Well, that's what she kept doing was she talked down to you, and she's doing the same thing to Sarah right now. She talks down to you, and then she compliments you right away, so you don't notice it. And I didn't notice it when she was doing it to me, but I noticed it when she was doing it to Sarah, and then I was like, oh, she's doing the same thing to me. She talks down to her, and then she goes, I think you're so beautiful and smart. And it's like, okay. Why didn't you ask Joy to stop making videos on your family? I thought that was clear. Join Joy's stream. No. There are a lot of people there that I do not want to see. She never stopped making videos. Well, I mean, I think Greg is going to go forward with getting somebody involved. I don't know. So, funny how she says Greg is manipulative when she's doing that and worse. I agree. I think that she's a very manipulative person. She's within her legal rights, though. No, she is slandering people. She is accusing people of doing illegal activity that is not happening. That is slander. People are saying that Sarah's being ganged up on. I think that, I mean, I don't know if you guys are there. I think that if Sarah's being ganged up on, then she should just leave. Because these debate things are a little bit pointless. Thank you, Sabin, for 100 bars. They're a little pointless because the people who don't like us and think these things about us that are outlandish aren't going to listen to a thing we have to say. You're saying my name perfectly. Perfect, yay. It's not so much slander as it is harassment. It's both. So you and Joy aren't in a good term now. Me and Joy were never in a good term, and me and Joy will never be on good terms. I have talked to my I have talked to an attorney, not the attorney who we will be contacting about this, but I have talked to an attorney, and yeah, he said I'm well within my rights to seek legal counsel about this. I'm letting my husband control me. Okay. People really don't know me at all. Like, is he here? Is he controlling me? No. I was like, I'm gonna broadcast, and he's like, okay, bye. And here I am broadcasting on my own. You don't know me, you don't know him, you don't have a right to say it. But you're gonna say it anyway, so I don't know why I'm saying anything. Because the people who are gonna say stuff like that, there's no reasoning with them. Do you know what I mean? You contacted her, you have no legal case. Okay, well, we'll see what the other attorney says. I've already talked to one, like I said. If he's not like you said, then why does he act like that online? Because that's who the Onision persona is. You really think he has that much energy to keep up with all that, like, in every day-to-day life? Anybody who's met Greg knows that he is, like, quiet and laid back. That has been my entire experience with Greg. Over 5 years. Over 5 years. We've been together over 5 years. And he has been nothing but laid back and quiet. Everyone has a work persona. Everyone. Exactly. I mean, even me. I think that now now that I'm starting to open up and be more comfortable in front of the camera, I'm a little bit closer to who I am in person on camera. But even me, like, I am a little bit different on streams, on videos than I am in person, because I'm performing in a sense. Like, I'm trying to be more entertaining so you guys don't get bored. Because if it was just me having a conversation, whatever, I'd be chilling. I'd be probably eating something. I'd be probably much quieter. And I don't know, I'm a very quiet person, so. Do I get annoyed with accusations against Greg and yourself? Of course. Of course. Why is Sarah in her chat? Because Sarah is trying to stand up for me. Sarah felt bad watching me do that stream because she knows that I have a hard time standing up for myself. I don't understand how Billy was relevant in the debate. Yeah, well, I guess that's what people are mad at me about, even though, I mean, I have admitted my faults in that relationship. I have apologized to her for the things that I've done wrong. It would be great if I could also get an apology, but I don't think it's going to happen. If it didn't happen over the last 2 years, I don't think it's going to happen. So I've kind of let that go, but I think everyone would like to see the real Greg. Maybe he's nice. He has been very similar to himself on a couple of streams he's done more recently on my stream. You don't think Greg is problematic? I think Greg has done problematic things, yes. I have said that. I have said that to Greg. I do not think Greg is a bad person, clearly, or I wouldn't be with him. Sarah's more or less being dragged in the chat. Well, that's unfortunate. Lily and her boyfriend are talking about my kids. Where is this happening? And can someone tell me? It's so low to bring someone's kids into something because, like, they're not involved, you know? Like, we're all adults. Let's handle this like adults, okay? Talking about how she made you cry and how you always cry. People try to make fun of me for crying. It doesn't bother me. I do cry. I've been very open and honest about that. I do cry a lot. I'm a very sensitive person. Like, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with crying. If I'm sad, I will cry. The end. Then I feel less sad. There you go. Put your glasses on. You look like you're struggling. I am struggling, but I don't have my glasses with me, so. She's talking about your kids. Where is she talking about my kids? Can someone please tell me? Because I have already told her that that's unacceptable and that happened a while back. Oh yeah, I saw that about my kids crying or whatever. Which, honestly, I'm not even gonna talk about it because I don't want my kids, yeah, out. There's a reason I keep my family life private, because children cannot consent to being publicized like this. They're kids. They don't know any of this that's going on. They don't need, they don't need to be in the public eye like that. That's why I keep them. Can someone answer if Billy's in the live stream with Joy? Okay, some people are saying she is, and some people are saying she isn't. Okay. Sarah just looks like Billy. Oh. Yeah, the hair is kind of similar. I will agree. People should respect your family's privacy. I agree. They are innocent in all of this. It doesn't matter if you think I'm not innocent or you think Greg's not innocent. Children are. They've done nothing. They have not been involved. Thanks, guys. Thanks for looking. I want, like I said this earlier, I want to resolve things. I especially want to resolve things with her, because I didn't want things to end the way that they did. I never wanted any of this to blow up publicly. So, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I'm just saying. She looks like she's moved on. That's good. I'm glad that she has. I've made a lot of progress, I will say. Like I don't wish anything bad on her. I hope that she has a good life. I really do. But have you not moved on? Because I cared about her a lot, and things that happened really hurt me, and I don't fall in love easily. I really don't. So I've had a very hard time with it, especially because of the way things ended. A lot of things were left unresolved. But well, that made it difficult for me to have answers in order to move on. I never got any sort of closure or anything like that. So I've had to try to kind of find my own closure, and it's a work in progress, you know. But I think I've made leaps and bounds, honestly. Compared to where I was 6 months ago, I am doing a lot better. Why am I still talking about her? Because people are asking questions about that, and that is what I want to resolve. Because I think that the only issue people really have with me is that if you have another issue that you want me to address, like, just ask me a question. I'm just reading questions. Like, how are you her friend when you leave Sarah to defend all of you? You know, Sarah was the one who wanted to go defend me. I stand by it. If Sarah is getting attacked or she's uncomfortable, I think that she should leave. Because I don't think that she's going to get through to anybody. Because nobody can get through to anybody. People already have their opinions, and like, things aren't, I don't think I'm going to change any opinions. So. Sarah's doing fine. Okay, that's good. I don't want Sarah to be upset. So I feel bad because Sarah, like I said, Sarah's a good friend and she wants to help me. And it's not her job. It really isn't. The other girls are saying it's fine for Billy's boyfriend to talk about your kids. No, it's not fine. It's absolutely not fine. They keep talking about the kids. It's not fine. In what world is that fine to talk about somebody else's kids I have gone to great lengths to keep them off the internet. Greg, it's okay for Greg to talk about other people's kids. Who? Is my sister in the live stream? No, my sister is not. And everyone enjoys live stream will not say that you told Sarah to leave instead of recommending. Well, if y'all want to see it. Hey, if you're upset, you should leave. They aren't worth it. I know, I'm getting stressed. I just don't want to look like a coward. There you go. Your sister is on the chat with Joy now? I thought she was on a date. Am I mad at Joy? Of course. Use a fidget spinner. I do. Guess you're fasting too. I'm not trying to fast. I've just been a little busy today. I had breakfast, but then I didn't have lunch or anything after that because I've been busy. All right. Well, I think that we've cleared up all that we can. After this, expect happier content because I don't want to do this anymore. It's dumb. It's not productive. Yeah. So I just put up a new video on Patreon, but it will be up on my channel tomorrow, and I hope that you guys like it. Yeah, I hopefully will stream again tomorrow. A fun stream. So I will see you